Hi everyone, this is Guilherme Tales again. I'm the creator for the Cloud Security Week. First, I'd like to thank everyone on the mail list, on the Telegram channel, everyone who attended these three classes. This is the third class, so this is the moment for your next step. So I showed you on the lecture 1 and lecture 2 the big scenario of employability on cloud security, and I show you effectively how can you study without spending anything. So just a review now. So you must know now that even in the crisis, this area, the cloud security area, employs the most on technology. You know that effective even before and after the pandemic, you can have a remote job. So your salary can be based in dollars and euros depending on your region, and you can begin your journey for cloud computing without spending anything. On the last lecture I showed you how can you download a free ebook that I have in English from my website, and also all the information and all the basic white papers for your journey on cloud security focus on AWS. So on the other two classes, we also talked about how COVID has accelerated the search for cloud professionals. We talk about 5 reasons to invest in knowledge in the cloud area. So first, the demand for professionals continues to increase every day. So it increases your chances of earning more. You can secure your job, and also you can prove your expertise and credibility when you commit yourself to the certification program. And I also recommend you focus on AWS because AWS has the biggest market share, and this is really important because most of the companies are using AWS, so your chances of getting and be a valuable professional and a valuable asset for the company kind of raises a lot. So on the first class, I showed you the basic salaries, the basic earnings that you can earn not only as an employee but also as a freelancers. The rates are really good, and you can start immediately your studies. So the point is, I recommend you do a certification even though English is not your native language, because even though the certification programs are in English, you have plenty of time to learn that, to master that, to have the basic learning skills. And also I will right now share with you two contents of my program, so you can take a look at the didactics, take a look at the information that I have there, and also after that, you can start your journey for cloud security. On Monday, I will open the tickets for the first class that I have for cloud security with a very special price, and this will end on next Friday. So if you want to start learning cloud, and this is your moment. So I will show you now these two contents, okay? Okay, everyone, on this lesson, we'll be talking about the summary of basic security principles. This lesson is basic for everyone that looks for cloud security within AWS, and of course for your associate exams. So right now we have some concepts that are very important to take a look. So let's get started. Remember the CIA triad, so we need to think about confidentiality, availability, and of course, integrity. So when we talk about confidentiality, we think about IAM and MFA. When we talk about availability, we think about auto-scaling and multi-AZ concept for a RDS, integrity certificate manager, and IAM and bucket policies. This is not a short list, this is just a remember and a pairing for you to understand these three pillars, okay? When we talk about the AAA model, we are talking about authentication, authorization, and accounting. So for authentication, we have IAM. For authorization, we have policies within IAM, of course. And for accounting, we have CloudTrail. So remember CloudTrail for accounting, non-repudiation, and API calls, okay? The main question is, How does AWS ensure security? So take a look at the white paper from AWS, the AWS security process, and also, of course, some security white papers within the AWS blog. Okay, when we talk about the well architecture framework and the security principles for AWS, we need to think about physical and environmental security. The examples are fire detection and suppression, electricity power, climate and temperature, management and process, and disabling the storage device. So you need to make sure and you trust AWS for decommissioning the previous EBS drives and S3 buckets and so on. When we talk about business continuity management, we are talking about availability, incident response, constant review of procedures, so the never-ending review cycle of documentations and all the flows that involves business continuity, and of course, good communication. When we go to network security, we need to understand secure network architecture, secure endpoints, string protection. Amazon is different than AWS, so it's a total different segregation. Fault tolerance design, network monitoring, and protection. When we go to the next slide, pay attention. Access on AWS, account revision and auditing, background checks, and credentials policies. So, the most important thing I think right now is principles by design. So you need to think security in the principle, security on the mapping, on the architecture and things like that. When we talk about change management, you need to understand that it's not only for software but also for infrastructure. So again, a good question. Why should we trust AWS as a cloud provider? So, we need to take a look at the compliance programs that we have for AWS. So, this is quite good to take a look at this because when we talk about, for example, compliance within AWS, we are not talking only about the shared responsibility models, but we are also talking about all the responsibilities within AWS. So AWS kind of address all the postures and the compliance for security. So they are also, let me put here, security is not security. It is compliance programs. Let me take a look here. Yeah, that's it. So we have some global security frameworks that AWS ensures that they address to that every year. Okay, so this is quite important to take a look. So continuing, so we have the concept why AWS manages cloud security. Cloud security in the cloud is customer responsibility. So we need to remember the shared responsibility model that AWS has the responsibility for the global infrastructure, hardware, software, networking, and the whole structure, and of course, their managed services. When we talk about the customer responsibility, we are talking about infrastructure as a service, including updates and security patches, and of course, the service configuration. Don't ever forget that image right there. What is orange is AWS responsibility, security of the cloud. And above that, our customer security in the cloud is responsibility for of the customer, okay? So, we talk about the shared responsibility model, and the main question we need to understand is how is the basic objective to ensure security within AWS within those pillars for visibility, auditability, controllability, and agility. So we need to go further than agility. So we need to think about also automation and scale. So how to address that within the AWS services? So for visibility, think about AWS config. For auditability, you need to think about AWS Cloud Trail. For controllability, you need to think about AWS KMS and AWS Cloud HSM. When we think about agility, think about CloudFormation and Elastic Beanstalk, because it's easy to quickly redeploy and change the configuration of your actual and current environment. When we talk about automation, think about AWS Ops Works and Code Deploy, okay? Scale is on your side, so you need to understand your own needs and scale accordingly. And the three important services that you need to understand for your exam and for security, it is the AWS Identity and Access Management, AWS Trust Advisor, not only for security, but also for cost and operational resilience, and of course, visibility with CloudWatch, and of course, the alarms on that. If you need anything, let me know. Okay, everyone, on this lesson, we will have the best practices for container security. So, do not store credentials. For that, we have Secrets Manager, use IAM roles and not users, do not run containers as root, one service per container. Remember to decouple your components. Minimize with that the attack surface and trusted images only. Avoid unknown repositories. Image scanning. Always scan images for vulnerabilities and exposures. Whenever possible, try to use Inspector or some other tool. Perimeter and infrastructure protection, endpoint interface, and avoid direct internet exposure. So I hope you enjoyed all of this information. Uh, okay, so let's take a look. If you want to commit yourself to a program, I will support you for 12 months to guide you, to support you for any doubt that you have. And you have all the basic information, not only for the cloud security certification from AWS, but also all the questions for you to practice before your exam. So I will be there holding your hand to direct you for all the things that you need. So I will start this class on Monday, and this will end for you to join, of course, on next Friday. So if you have any doubt, please let me know.